Hello and welcome to everyone. Vladimir, the Bulgarian Cowboy, Vlad speaking, and I will try right now to go with those picks and predictions. I will try to go live and to guide you through the world of this lovely event. So I want to tell you that there has been moments when I was really enjoying watching those minor promotions, but sometimes Windows has changed, and it's not that I have the greatest amount of time anymore, so I will be brief with this one. The first match, the Juan Robinson 050 is going to meet Travis Demko. Travis Demko's professional boxing record is 8-1-0, fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts. Top-notch puncher, and his MMA record is in amateurs. He has 2 wins via split decision. He lost in boxing only to Muhammad Alam, but in his debut he defeated Raymond Yanez. And now against the Juan Robinson, he'll be looking for a chance to extend his winning streak. The Juan Robinson is 050, 5'9" fighter. He lost to Daniel Winston, Jarvis Duharme, Daryl Humphrey, Nathan Garib. The guy doesn't have a victory in his professional record. And on the other side, Travis Demko is a knockout artist, so as much as I see, this should be a victory for Travis Demko. I mean, from what I've seen, I did an analysis, and Travis Demko to win for -600, or Demko inside the distance, KO, TKO. That should be an okay pick for this one. Now the next battle is the match between Conor Matthews and Christopher Pires. Conor Matthews riding on a 400. The controller is 5'8", 71 inches of reach, and out of zone mixed martial arts, which means that this guy is very, very skillful with submissions. Rob Fuller, Joshua Marer, Jay Ellis, they were all choked out. Stacey Anderson destroyed via KO, TKO, early shot. This guy was defeated only twice in his amateur circuit. Gonna meet Christopher Pires, fighting out of New York, 5'8". Christopher Pires lost to Jim Fitzpatrick, Terry Bartholomew, Ted Freak, Hassan Abdullah, but the guy, interestingly, never lost via submission. He was mostly losing via decisions, and I'm unsure about Conor Matthews' cardio, as the guy was finishing every single of his opponents. So it's pretty much giving me a headache nowadays. So I would have to think about this one. Let me see the line. The line is saying Pires is an underdog, which is kind of expected, but I'm unsure about Matthews' cardio. So let's say Matthews to win for -300, or the fight will not go the distance. That fight between Matthews and Pires, because I'm kind of unsure about Matthews' cardio, and that's really giving me a hard time. Now the next fight is between Dion Rubio, 100, fighting out of Rhode Island. This guy competed in majority of grappling tournaments as well, as you see, and there were many draws and there were many victories. So he's a skillful grappler. He defeated Leonardo Ladeira at Cage Titans via guillotine choke and destroyed majority of his opponents via grappling. Now I'm gonna meet Bobby Cazale. Bobby Cazale in amateur record has a score of 3-3, 3 decision losses, which means his cardio is not on point, but Dion Rubio also was unable to defeat his opponents when the fight went to judges' scorecards. He is dangerous within the first few rounds when his opponents are not sweaty within round 1, eventually round 2. So I assume Dion Rubio gonna be a favorite for this one. Yes, Dion Rubio is the favorite, so Dion Rubio to win, -205. Dion Rubio clear submission gonna bring you a plus value. I assume that's going to bring you a plus value if you want to take part in hardly. I don't see this fight going the distance, so not again. Oh yeah. So the next one is going to be the match between Tairim da Silva and Eduardo Rodriguez. Tairim da Silva 1-0. Fighting also out of Rhode Island, he defeated Josh Hardy and took part in some grappling tournaments where he fought to a draw. But he is gonna meet Eduardo Rodriguez 1-1-0. Also featherweight fighter fighting out of Brazil. The guy defeated Alessandro Conceição, lost to Nathan Garib via strikes. Guys, about this fight, I don't know. I watched Eduardo Rodriguez. Didn't look that bad to me. Lucky pick Tarim da Silva to win. This is like, I don't know. I don't have much of the info about those two guys, so that's really much something that pretty much gives me a hard time here. So I'd like to say this could be a big problem here. So next one, Joy Gomez versus Vladimir Kazbekov. Joy Gomez 6'4". Joy Gomez KO King 6'2", 5'10", 73 inches of reach, bantamweight fighter, very long. Lost to Rob Font and Jose Alberto Quinones at UFC. Majority of the opponents, all first round stoppages, but when he arrived into the UFC, he was unable to extend his knockout streak. Vladimir Kazbekov 6'4", 5'7", out of Vladikavkaz, Russia, but fighting out of Ireland, Ontario. He was having ups and downs, losses to Tyler Wilson, Jacob Bond. That's not something to believe in, against Joy Gomez, against Vladimir. I think Joy Gomez has more experience, and Kazbekov was mostly losing to UFC names, for example, Tony Gravely. Jacob Bond is also a strong guy, also Tyler Wilson. He doesn't have victories over high-level names, so I'd say Gomez Kazbekov. Gomez versus Kazbekov, not going the distance. That is my pick. Or Gomez to win. Maybe, but I'm unsure of this one. Or Gomez to win for -180, but for this one, it's not that I'm super sure. Next one is going to be the matchup between Gary Belletto Jr. and Billy Goff. This is the co-main event. 5 rounds of action for a welterweight belt. Gary Belletto Jr. is a very, very tough guy to deal with. Belletto Jr. 7'2", 5'10", 70 inches of reach, welterweight fighter out of Cranston, Rhode Island. The guy choked out Daniel Frunza, and he choked out Dylan Wilson, competed at boxing, but he also scored a few wins, lost to Jeremiah Wells, but Jeremiah Wells is a UFC caliber. Jeremiah Wells knocked him out cold, but he also submitted Chris Torres, Sharif Jones, defeated some of the opponents via punches on the ground. So this guy is a finisher on the ground. He is extremely, extremely good on the ground, and he is CES vet. His whole career took part at CES. Billy Goff on the other side, 5'2", 5'10", 72 inches of reach. I think the guy was thrown to the wolves too early, if you know what I mean. Goff is going to have 2 inches of reach advantage fighting out of Dexter MMA, Groton, Connecticut. At Cage Titans, he scored 3 back-to-back wins over Robson Gracie Jr., Sean Lally, and Martin Davis. And he has never been stopped via submission, only once to Dion Rubio in amateur circuit. And this time he is meeting a very, very skillful submission guy. And Billy Goff is a favorite, but I don't share their greed, I think Gary Belletto Jr. fought some really, really high level names, and loss to Jeremiah Wells is not a shame. On the other side, Billy Goff scored losses to some lower level names, and I believe Billy Goff's submission defense could play a critical role, but I don't underestimate Gary Belletto Jr.'s cardio. I mean, his cardio is not that bad. We're gonna see that his cardio is not that bad. We've seen that in the match against Sharif Jones. So I'm gonna say Gary Belletto Jr. to win for for +120. And going to go with the final tip of the night. It's the match between Andre Soukhamthath and Diego Silva. Andre Soukhamthath, the Asian sensation, 49-0, first ever Lao fighter, bantamweight, 5'9", 70 inches of reach, fighting out of West Palm Beach, Florida, United States, but he was born in Providence. This guy competed at UFC and he scored great performance. In one of the greatest promotions, he defeated Luke Saunders, Jonathan Martinez, but lost to Sumo Derji, Montel Jackson, Sean O'Malley, Alejandro Perez, Albert Morales. All losses came via decisions. At CES, he destroyed majority of the opponents, but lost to Brian Kelleher via decision. Interestingly, Andre Soukhamthath has never been finished in his whole career. Also, Rob Font was unable to finish him, so it seems Soukhamthath is slowing down in later rounds, and the reason for that, well, Soukhamthath is cutting a lot of pounds. He's cutting a lot of weight. Diego Magrinho Silva, 13-6-0, 5'6", out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He fought at Cage Titans, where he lost via decision to Jake Perrin and outworked Aaron Williams. He was losing to Goga Shimatawa, to Hussein Sheikhaev, defeated Enrique Souza, Javier Baez. Many people are going to say that this guy is going to lose because he's not a UFC level, just like Andre Soukhamthath used to be. But this guy improved himself a lot while Andre Soukhamthath trains with American top team, but he is at the end of his career. So I think Andre Soukhamthath lost his desire. I think he is not what he used to be. So I know odd against Soukhamthath is pretty much high, but I'm having Silva to win for +165 or Soukhamthath versus Silva goes the distance. That's going to be my pick. So just to tell you, these are my picks and predictions, and I hope this will help you at least earn some money. If you're gonna ask me who is the lock, Travis Demko, lock of the night, most promising underdog, Belletto Jr. So that's all about this event that I have to say. If some later changes happen, I can't be responsible for that, right? I'm gonna train in the afternoon, so please don't miss that. And catch you later, guys.